What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, talking today about Order 1886. Now I just got an hour hands-on with the entire first level. The first level didn't take an hour to complete, but I actually purposely ran all over the place and really tried to learn everything I could in my hour with the game. It opens with the now famous shot of us rappelling into the Agamemnon airship. Whenever you press down and X, your character starts rappelling, but what amount of that was CG and what amount of that was actual gameplay, I can't really tell. It felt a lot like I was actually just triggering a movie mode instead of actually playing the game right there. Once we get inside though, we start to really see the most incredible part about this, which is the character animations. The characters look terrified and really apprehensive while still confident. They hold their shoulders with confidence, but you can see these sidelong glances as they creep around, expecting to be killed at any moment. They look nervous. They begin talking in hushed whispers, and I actually missed pretty much everything that they were saying, and I didn't have subtitles turned on. Basically what I garnered though is that we had to get to the cockpit to make sure that nobody could steer this thing. We begin sneaking through the interior of the ship to take over the cockpit, and it's really interesting sneaking through here because it's actually brutally hard. When you get spotted, you are dead, and I really like that about it. So when you're sneaking through here, you have to take people out as quick as possible. To take out a guard, you have to come up behind them and wait for it to show the triangle button. That's your action button, and once you press it, you stealth take them out. If they see you at all though, you are instantly dead. Instantly. Even if it's 13 feet away, 50 feet away, if their light goes upon you, you're immediately shot in the head. During this part, you can't get your guns out at all because you don't want the cockpit to know you're coming. Getting to the cockpit, we toss a smoke grenade inside and do a series of quick time events, trying to press triangle, X, and square, actually aiming a few punches here to make sure nobody is able to fire a gun in the cockpit. If you mess up here, you are immediately shot in the head. Normally, I absolutely hate quick time events, but I actually had fun with this one. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say one because I think if there's a lot of these in the game, that's going to seriously detract from it. But this one, in such a subtle way right there, was actually really fun. It made me feel part of this really incredibly tense moment in a way that a normal gunfight wouldn't have done. Now that the cockpit's secure, we slip back out and evade a few more guards in the hall. Sneaking past the guards was incredibly hard, and a couple times they actually shot me through corners. There'd be times where I'm sneaking past a corner, and I'd leave the corner press, like stop pressing against the corner, and when I go out there, their light would barely catch me, and they'd shoot me in the head immediately. What made this even more difficult was the fact that the guards do not actually have patrol paths. Instead of just program them to walk in big circles, as far as I could tell, they just do whatever the fuck they want. They walk up certain areas, they walk down certain areas, sometimes they'll walk in circles, and sometimes you're able to sneak in a corner kill, which is what I had to do on both these guards in the first main room. I just had to crouch and wait and wait and wait until I could finally slide a blade in his throat. Traversing out of the lower decks, we break a lock with a rather difficult mini-game where you're using pretty much the entire controller. You have to hold L2, then spin the lock, then press R2. Once you do this, you pop off all three locks and get in. Now we're in the main hall, which looks a lot like Titanic, and we spot a character that is of some relevance, although what, we can't tell. My character discovers that a lot of the people hidden in the crowd, though, are actually rebels, so I take the worst hiding spot ever and build a sniper rifle to mark the targets before really going all out with the sniping. Instead of actually being interesting and subtle, though, almost all the rebels, air quotes, have ridiculous guns, humongous guns busting out of their obviously shrunken jackets, so you can see them a mile away. But even if you couldn't, then it also has a giant reticle that appears as soon as you get close, because you have to press triangle on each one, marking them out. Once I have them all marked out, though, I'm able to start going crazy, no-scope crazy. It feels weird to use a sniper rifle in a room that's literally 1/5 the size of a football field, but I make do. Once I was up there sniping, though, shit just went absolutely crazy. There's guys on the upper balcony, on the lower balcony, there's people using small arms, some people using machine guns, and it's coming at you from every angle. When you pop up, you have to get a kill pretty much every time you pop up. You have to take out a target as fast and as efficiently as possible. I actually died 5 times here while trying to fight these guys off. Eventually, I wanted to try and flank them by going down the stairwell behind me. Once I get to that first major doorway, I hear glass cracking, and all of a sudden this guy with a shotgun popped down from the ceiling. I got out my pistol, popped out, and managed to get several headshots on him as fast as possible. Dropping my sniper rifle, I picked up his shotgun, and to say this thing fires bullets is a vast understatement. This thing explodes thunder and shrapnel at any fool unfortunate enough to be in front of me. So I've got a shotgun now, but I'm on the lower floor, and there are enemies everywhere, so I really had to practice the cover shooting. Your mustache-wearing hero doesn't take a lot of shots before falling over dead, so you really have to time your movements. If you're moving somewhere, you really gotta know where you're running before you run there. You have to press circle next to an object to crouch next to it, and then X to leave that cover. I like this mechanic. So your character can also apparently self-revive. If you're shot and you're behind cover, your guy will fall over, the screen will turn slightly red, and you can press triangle and then hammer X. This will pick your character back up with half health, but if you get shot again, then you're totally, completely instant dead and go back to the last checkpoint. Killing the last guy in the hall, I'm able to catch up with the man I'm chasing. It's some guy from the Order who's high rank, and he talks about how the whole situation is ruined, so we put him in an evacuation balloon and he hot air balloons out the zeppelin. This segues directly into the last final scene of this, which was a humongous firefight in a kitchen. It just went on and on and on. At this point, every guard on the ship is aware of what's going on, so it seems like pretty much anybody, civilian or not, has been given a machine gun and told to kill your ass quickly. Once I was able to kill one or two guys and get in close, I scooped up that machine gun to try it out for myself, and it really packs a punch. I really cannot give enough credit to the way the weapons feel in this game. They look good, they sound good, they recoil properly, and the way the enemies react when they're shot, it just feels perfect. The way guns feel makes it fun to pick up a gun. Every time you see a new gun, you get giddy. You genuinely want to pick it up and see how it works. You want to learn how every gun works. I do a couple QTE takedowns, pulling people onto stoves and stuff, but what was really interesting is here's where I actually got to try out the slow-mo for the first time. So whenever you fill up your special meter underneath your ammo, you're able to slow down time for a small portion of time. But what was weird to me was that time really slowed down, but my gun didn't. My gun had to be firing hundreds of bullets a minute with how fast it sped up, and it also automatically locked onto the target's heads or vital organs. At one point I'm standing there and a bunch of guys are running in, I turned on slow-mo and it pretty much auto-locked on their heads one by one. I didn't get a chance to tinker with the options, because if I could turn that off, I really want to. Once I have it in slow-mo, I can already automatically aim myself. The fact that it pulled my reticle onto their heads really kind of annoyed me. Wiping out these last few targets, the level ended and it just showed a big display date, and it was a lot of fun. Overall, my thoughts are that the animation is incredible. I really like the fact that every single portion of this level had a different little thing I was doing. Either a QuickTime event, or sneaking, or identifying targets, or hacking a door. There was always something to do besides just pew pew kill them all. I really wish I'd gotten to fight that werewolf that we saw in all the trailers, but obviously they gotta hold that back for the full release. This has been DreamcastGuy. If you like this, share this with your friends, and as always, like, comment, and subscribe. But do me a big favor and keep dreaming. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, maybe check out my last video. Please subscribe, and if you want, share this somewhere with your friends.